Melbourne has been ranked many times as the world's most livable city, so it's no surprise that for people all around the world, living here is an attractive prospect. The city relishes in diversity and multiculturalism, with just over a quarter of the population having been born overseas. In 2016, the Australian Bureau of Statistics recorded that Melbourne is home to residents from 180 countries who speak over 233 languages and dialects and follow 116 religious faiths. Melbourne has also been crowned the cultural capital of Australia, renowned for its thriving array of artists that give the city its unique and intriguing charm. The city hosts a smorgasbord of festivals, celebrating the cultures of countries all across the world through food, music and dance. In this video, we've chosen to focus on what we believe is arguably one of Melbourne's most important world music artefacts. This is a private organisation called the Boite. The organisation was founded in 1979 in Sydney, and within the next few years was brought down to Melbourne. In the organisation's early days, the Boite gave a voice to racial minorities fighting against a strict political agenda. Nowadays, where racial and cultural discrimination is no longer such a large issue, the organisation operates much more freely. Today, the mission statement for the organisation is very much the same as it was in 1979, to provide a place where the music of the world can be safely shared and appreciated. The Boite works its hardest to provide both musical and non-musical opportunities for struggling cultural communities and the people within those cultures. In this video, you'll see a number of interviews we recorded with members of the Boite community. Firstly, we'll be talking to the acting director of the Boite about what exactly it is the organisation does and get him to fill us in on the projects they run. Then we'll move on to some interviews with a number of musicians who have played at the Boite and have them tell us a little bit about their relationship with the Boite.
I'm Roger King and I'm the director of the Boite, which is basically the CEO or managing director. I call it managing director. Well, I'm the person who's responsible to the committee. It's a community-based organisation, but it has involved over the years more than that because I've been involved in the development of a lot of these projects. So the creation of a lot of these projects. So.
What kind of projects? Anything in particular?
Well, there are 4 projects that we are best known for. There's the Singers Festival, which was at Daylesford for 26 years, and we're moving it down to Abbotsford this coming summer. And then there's the Melbourne, what was the Melbourne Millennium Chorus is now called the Boite Millennium Chorus, and an offshoot of that is the Boite Schools Chorus. So there are big projects, biggest projects for the year. Then of course there's the World Music Cafe, which is where we are right now. And this started in Port Melbourne in 1989 and then started here in 2001. Sorry, not 2001, 1991. And this is really the heart of the Boite. It's deliberately a small venue and it has quite a prolific program. And the idea behind that is that our charter is really to explore the music of multicultural Melbourne. And we know that there's, especially 20 and 30 years ago, there was a lot out there that nobody had ever heard of. They're great musicians, but just noodling away into their own communities or in cafes and so on. And so part of our brief was to bring these people to the attention of a broader audience.
The musicians you're about to see all performed at the World Music Cafe venues in September. We went along to their shows to see the wide variety of musical tastes the Boite has to offer. We interviewed the artists on their music and the culture that they convey. These interviews led to discussion about multiculturalism in Melbourne and the kind of exposure these artists get as musicians. On the 3rd of September, we went to the Fitzroy World Music Cafe and watched 2 acts of very different genres perform. The first artist we spoke to was Amir.
My name is Amir Kaveh and I'm an instrument player and a singer. I'm from Iran and To be more specific, the name of this instrument is sitar, which is one of Iranian traditional instruments. It's very similar to, the name is very similar to sitar, which is for our Indian friends, but that's a different instrument.
Amir has played to audiences across the globe. He had his first experience on the stage in his home country of Iran. He revealed to us that there are many styles of setar playing, and that he plays specifically traditional Iranian music. Traditional Iranian music has strong cultural ties with traditional Iranian literature, and Amir told us that a lot of the lyrics he accompanies his playing with are traditional Iranian hymns and readings.
So the Melbourne itself, it's a multicultural city itself. So because of that, you will have lots of multiculturalism in music as well. And I think a place like Boite here has a very good role in managing this thing and introducing different musicians to each other and show them the path. Because when you come from another country, so you don't know anything about that destination country, and yeah, I think I was lucky to find a place like this, and yeah, I can say there are lots of multicultural activities relating to music happening here in Melbourne. Yeah.
On the same evening we saw the Yugotones, a Yugoslavian Balkan band. Unfortunately, we did not get any footage of their performance. However, we did catch up with them just after their performance and had a brief chat about their music and the Boite.
Yeah. My name is Alex Habush.
My name is Alistair Price.
And we play in the Yugotones, and we play music from the former Yugoslav regions and from the era of former Yugoslavia, so up to about 1990 or thereabout.
Yeah, I guess I've been playing Balkan music, performing in Melbourne since about 2007. So that's, 8 years, 9 years. And Boite cafes are, I'd say, pretty unique, because the other places you could perform this kind of stuff might be at a reception for a wedding or a christening, or at a bar. And then in terms of bars, it could be any number of bars. It could be like boutique-y kind of bohemian bars, or larger venues. And some of the larger venues cater quite specifically to people from the region even. So there's actually quite a few different places you can play. And I guess, like for instance, what we just did now was an acoustic performance for basically what amounts to a subscription audience, I think, like the same people who come to see the Boite all the time. So they want to see acoustic music.
And they'd be interested in hearing music from all different regions of the world, I would imagine. So I guess what's so great about the Boite is that you get to travel the world just by coming into this small venue here in Fitzroy North, or in Eltham, or in Box Hill, and you can go to former Yugoslavia. You can go to places that don't exist anymore, or you can go to Ireland like we did, and England like we did last week in Eltham with a wonderful band, I think, in which your sister plays.
My sister and Corey playing it.
Yeah,
Corey was playing guitar tonight.
Yeah, which plays, a completely different region of the world, different style of music. So it's a little journey across the world with none of the food poisoning.
On the 17th of September, we returned to the Fitzroy World Music Cafe to watch Micsoduck perform. We spoke to them about their connection with Hungarian folk music and what it meant to them to be representing that culture.
Okay, hi, my name's Ron. I play Furuya and Kaval, which are traditional Hungarian wind instruments, in Micsoduck, which is the name of the band that we're both in.
My name's Alexandra, and I play violin in the band, and I guess played that sort of style only since we got together, but folk music and world music for a long time.
The group comprises of a mixture of unique regional instruments, including a special sort of flute and the kobos, a lute instrument. Ron told us that he picked up these native instruments at a late age as a way to reconnect with his home culture he prior knew little about.
I think the boite reflects to some degree the wider community in Melbourne and vice versa, I suppose. You could say that there's a macrocosm of what's happening in the city at large, and this is like a microcosmic version of it in a sense.
The final performance we went along to was at the Eltham World Music Cafe. We went along to see Vinod Prasanna play the bansuri, a South Asian flute originating in India. He told us about the strict discipline and practice behind the learning of the instrument, or any instrument in traditional Indian culture for that matter. Vinod has made a name for himself through his technical ability and fluency in many musical styles.
My name is Vinod Prasanna, and
my name is Aman Kalyan.
And the music actually we are playing is Indian classical music in very original forms. And the composition you hear, actually I compose that composition. So usually what happens in India, you get the traditional compositions is there, but then if you master Indian music, then you can learn actually to compose your own. Yeah, but it takes years of practice, lots of practice.
Vinod's performance was captivating and his musical ability breathtaking. However, seeing as North Indian classical music does not have the largest fan base in Melbourne, we asked him what avenues he took to share and perform his music.
Because Boite, actually the organization here in Melbourne, that they're doing great job for the musicians, to advertise them, and putting concert for them. They're doing amazing job. There are a few organizations, they're doing really amazing jobs, and Boite, I think, is like in world music is like a number one. They're a very nice team, beautiful people. If you see their brochure, you will see what you see. You see different culture and different musicians are performing, which is actually other. When you see other organizations, you don't find that easily. And Boite is quite often you see they are supporting, as I say in the beginning, they are supporting the artists, and there are a lot of artists actually. They call them and they see if you're good, they put you out there, and you perform. People get to know you, and this is how the artists get the opportunity, to get more gigs, and people get to know you, get students, so it's fantastic.
We think of multiculturalism. We say that multiculturalism is the foundation of the Boite, so it's very important. We keep on reminding ourselves of multiculturalism, and one thing that we think that we don't want ethnic communities to be seen to be in ghettos. We're trying to break that down, and that means we've got to introduce people to each other and to a broader audience. So there are hundreds of stories around the Boite. A lot of them are very small stories, but often it's a very small incident that has a profound long-term effect. And if we can give musicians from immigrant communities a bit of status, a little bit of fame, a bit of encouragement, some resources, that's what sort of we're here for. Our main aim really is to support these musicians.
Over the past month, we immersed ourselves within the Boite's community to see what cultures Melbourne has to offer. We spoke to members of the community of many different roles, from performers to organisers to the general audience. What we experienced is an organisation that's an irreplaceable asset to Melbourne's multicultural population. At first glance, the Boite is an organisation that showcases cultures from all around the world, all within the walls of a few small cafes. However, after speaking to Roger and other members of the organisation, we came to realise that the Boite does so much more than put on a show. The Boite is responsible for keeping cultures alive in Melbourne that otherwise may not have stood a chance. Through initiatives such as the school chorus program, the Boite reaches out to small racial and cultural communities, teaches them to not only be proud of who they are, but give them a place to do so.